I feel there is a way you relate things or issues to
Children.
teenagers, young people, and you don't just go outright.
Yes, that's a factor.
I feel if
That's
you
a
go
factor.
outright, there's a tendency for them to get uncomfortable. Do you get? So that's where language comes in.
One of the main reasons is just the fear of promiscuity, and it's funny.
But it doesn't
because
make sense to
It
me.
really doesn't. It's not them not knowing alone is going to push them to do what they're not supposed to do. They
Mhm.
could get an older person that is like a predator.
Okay.
Yeah, and a predator, an older
Yes,
person could come
yes.
to them, and because they are ignorant, they can easily fall.
Yes.
Because they don't know what not to
Yes.
do. And then when they fall, there's also this one where the part where parents find it uncomfortable.
Sharing this with
Yes, sharing this with
Yeah.
their children, speaking to
Their
their children
children,
about
yes.
it. The children will also not find comfort in telling their parents. If
Parents.
anything was to happen, who are they going to tell? They can't tell their
I
parents.
feel
Hello everyone, my name is Samira and welcome to another episode of Talks with Intalks, and these are my lovely hosts.
Millicent.
victory.
Yeah. And today's topic is sex education in Nigeria, necessary or taboo? Very interesting topic.
It is.
Very interesting topic. I
It is.
already know how it's going to go.
It is.
Very interesting topic. So yeah. So why is this topic so controversial? Like, why do you think it's controversial?
Okay. I think it still comes from a place of perspective. Or should I say it's kind of relative. Everybody has their own opinion concerning this sex education. And then again, it's all from way back in time, where we had this ideology that it needs to be confined. It's a very sacred information. A whole lot of that.
Yeah.
But then you have some other set of persons that think directly opposite to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're having this
I mean, not a lot of people, but yes.
debate. Yeah.
I think. Yeah, you go.
I'm actually glad that we are talking about this now, because I feel some people or most people feel it's a taboo. They see it as a taboo. They feel this topic is very sensitive. How can I be talking about sex? Teaching
True.
about sex.
Even up until
Yes.
now,
I do
they
not
think
want to
that
talk
way.
about it. Do you get?
Mhm.
But then there are some people that see it as something that should be talked about. Do you get?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think it's mostly because, like, the reason why it's so controversial is because Nigeria itself is a deeply religious society, and the talk of sex alone, it's as if it promotes, how do you pronounce this word? Promiscuity. I think.
Yes.
Yeah, that alone. I mean, that doesn't make any sense because talking about it doesn't promote it. Talking
Do you
about
get?
it educates
Mm-hmm.
these
Yes,
people you're
it
talking
does.
to about.
Yes.
Because if you don't tell them
It
anything,
does, so they
they're
can
going
know
to learn
about
from
their
somewhere
body.
else. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to learn from somewhere else and they'll not be learning like the right. They will not be getting the right information
Yeah.
or anything at all.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And
well,
this someone else you mentioned, right? It's, let's say, external.
Yeah, external. It could be from social media is like the worst place to learn about something like this.
Do you get?
The worst place.
The worst, because there we have a lot of wrong or harmful sources,
Yes.
That's so true. That's so true.
and then they end up teaching your children what
Yes,
they are
and
not
what
supposed,
they're not
to
supposed
be
to
learning,
know.
what they are not even supposed to know.
Because like the lack of education on this thing is what is promoting, no, not promoting, it has kind of like increased the rate of teenage pregnancy,
Yes,
STIs,
STIs.
HIV.
That's true.
Ignorance in
Yeah.
general.
Mm.
Ignorance in general.
Then again, you know that I kind of feel, or should I say, I think that persons, like people, do not know the meaning of this sex education.
Yeah, they don't.
They do not know the
They
meaning.
think it's teaching is like what teaching the
Where
children
you're
how to
having
do
it-
it.
in-
That's not what
the
anybody's
intercourse
doing.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not what anybody's doing. We're teaching about menstruation
Mhm.
for the girls.
Know
most
your
especially,
body.
your body, the anatomy,
Relationships.
consent, which is very important because a lot of people do not learn about consent, especially the younger generation. If I even the older generation,
Some they don't know.
Everybody.
The older generation, yes, I agree with you.
everybody, they don't really know what consent is.
Yes.
They feel like because I mean, she's clearly uncomfortable, or he is clearly uncomfortable. But because this person isn't saying anything, you feel okay. That's like an okay.
Or because the person smiles at you and you feel,
Yes.
that girl.
Most like when someone approaches, like
she's-
example,
More like judging a book by its
They give,
cover.
me, they give me green light.
Yes.
No, I'm just trying to be polite.
like
I know
most
they
times,
give you
eh,
green
even
light.
if they're not even being like maybe someone approaches you on the streets, and this is like a secluded area, and they are talking to you. The best thing you can do is to be nice, oh, because if you get
You
angry,
get-
do you know what would happen? You
Yes,
can't even
yes,
think of what would happen.
You
I
because
cannot
agree.
be. You
know.
cannot be like rude to strangers,
Yes, you can't be
especially
rude
in
to
that kind
strangers.
of situation,
Environment.
that kind of
Exactly.
environment, because anything can happen. So I decide to be polite. I decide to smile.
Smile.
Yes.
Be so cooperative.
It doesn't mean
keep it calm.
I have any interest in you, or I'm trying to be polite.
I'm just trying to avoid the terrible
And then
situation.
you're acting smart.
Yes,
Yes,
to
because
save
it can
myself from a
result
lot
to-
of, because this person might be, I don't know.
Exactly, you don't know.
You
really do not know.
It's not written on the face.
So that's it.
It's not written on the face
But
at
honestly, the
all.
reason why I've said that already, but like one of the main reasons is just the fear of promiscuity, and it's funny.
But it doesn't
because
make sense to
It
me.
really doesn't. It's not them not knowing alone is going to push them to do what they're not supposed to do. They
Mm-hmm.
could get an older person that is like a predator.
Okay.
Yeah, and a predator and older
Yes,
person could come
yes.
to them, and because they are ignorant, they can easily fall.
Yes.
Because they don't know what not to
Yes.
do. And then when they fall, there's also this one where the part where parents find it uncomfortable. to
Sharing
speak.
this with
Yes, sharing this with
Yeah.
their children, speaking to
Their
their children
children,
about
yes.
it. The children will not find comfort in telling their parents. If
Parents.
anything was to happen, who are they going to tell? They can't tell their parents.
I feel in this case you should be open. Like you should have open conversations with your children.
Yeah.
Let them feel that, oh, mommy is the kind of person I can turn to. I'm having issues like this. I know someone I can talk. I have a mother. I have a father. I can actually approach my father to confide in him and say,
Yeah.
daddy, see, and all of that. Do not install or instill fear
Yes. Make it a very comfortable
in them,
environment.
in your children. Do you get?
It's not like
I-
I'll come
I-
to you and I complain about, oh, I'm having small fever. And the next thing you're saying is, are you pregnant?
Oh my
You
dear.
get-
It's fever.
Oh my dear.
This will make me not want to tell you
create-
anything.
Create open conversations and then
Yes. You know this thing creates sexual
create
development.
an avenue
Yes.
for questions, like where they are able to like approach you and ask questions concerning these things, because you
Yes.
always like find time to like tell them about these things. You sensitize them and all of those, and they have this confidence that my mom is someone I can approach
Yes, talk
when
to.
it comes to issues like this.
yes,
Do you
yes.
get? So that
I you know, it
feel-
even transcends to beyond sex education when that avenue is created. So it's a plus.
Yeah,
a big
it
one.
is. Yeah.
It is a big one.
So now another question: who should teach sex education?
Everyone can.
everybody,
Well,
Everyone.
everyone,
every
yes,
institution.
yes.
I believe even churches,
You know, I heard that.
Don't do that. You
they
know.
don't.
Like why? That's
They don't
another
want to talk
place
about
where
sex.
children are gathered in one
They don't.
place.
They don't. But I believe that churches should teach sex education.
Do you know it will go?
Schools.
It will go further if churches takes it as a responsibility to teach them.
They don't.
It would,
They don't.
based on the kind of religious mindset that is
Yeah,
in Nigeria.
exactly.
It will go further. People will get to hear about it more, and it will not turn to a norm.
Yeah,
Or
just
become
don't
a
do it
norm,
and
yes.
then other churches will also take from this
Emulate,
and
because
also
you know the
want to do
competition
it.
is always there with them.
Yeah.
You know, and these school settings, it comes in a situation whereby when one particular school teaches it in this way, another school teaches it differently, because parents are major factors there.
Yeah.
You know, at times when they put up the PTA meeting and all that, and
And
you
some
know
of them don't even come.
some of them they don't come and some of them they don't give consent to, oh yes, you need to teach my children, or you need
Yes.
to teach my child this. So they tend to like want to please the parents so that their children will not be taken off from the school. And then again, to those schools that they teach these things, like this is an education that the children need to know, they base on what is right and what is wrong. You get, and making them to like have a better self-esteem, understanding themselves better. Since students are kind of embarrassed about this, they start with biology.
Yeah. Oh my God! It always starts in biology when they start telling you to go and draw the diagram of the genitals. Next thing you know, they're covering their faces in shame.
Exactly.
Speaking
And
of shame,
next thing you know, the guys are laughing.
exactly, and they're always laughing. Like, why are you laughing? We're also talking
What's
about
funny?
you too.
And there's when my uncle did it back then when he was teaching. Since he noticed that these students are embarrassed, he started with light, like simple terms for the reproduction
Yeah.
system and the genitals and all that. So when he noticed that they were getting comfortable, he had to mix them. Like, let's say before the boys were sitting this way, the girls were sitting this way. He then got to a point he had to mix one girl, one boy, one girl, one boy, one girl, one boy, and then he started up with questions. He would make you must answer.
Must
That is
interact.
where
You must interact.
language comes in. I feel there is a way you relate things or
To
issues to
children.
teenagers, young people, and you don't just go outright to say.
Yes, that's a factor.
I feel if
That's
you
a
go
factor.
outright, there's a tendency for them to get uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Do you get? So that's where language comes in.
And there's this other thing where another reason why they don't really talk about it is because of the shame and stigma that surrounds
Sometimes it even
sexuality.
comes from home too.
Yeah, it comes from home. Like, they don't make it comfortable enough for you to even want to ask questions or to talk about these things. Even sometimes in schools too. It also happens in schools too. I think amongst their peers.
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly amongst their peers, and then it gets to the point where they can't even talk to their teachers because they feel, especially if the teacher is one kind of very strict teacher like this, or if mostly all of them are strict, you will not see anybody coming to talk to you about anything now. Sometimes they need to be calm.
So
Calm for
this
truth.
shows that teenagers, pupils, students, they need a particular process
Yes.
to get through to them.
Yeah. I think this is where the school comes in when they say the best place to actually learn it is school, because they have like age appropriate, you be in age appropriate classes, so they know how to like lay out this information
Yeah.
to you at different stages
Yes.
of your life.
Because you cannot be in primary 3
Mm-hmm.
and be learning what you are supposed to learn in SS3.
Exactly. So that's where the age appropriate subjects and everything comes in.
Although you do have to teach them, even when they are in primary 3, you still have to teach them about these things.
Yes, you still do.
Do you get? But in a different
Sometimes
way.
you actually have to start with the important stuff, like if so person touches you in this place, tell
Come
your
and-
mommy
come and tell
or
me,
come and tell me, stuff
yes.
like that. But you don't tell them outwardly like this is how your body. Sometimes you don't really start with that.
That's
Because
where
the
you start
information be
from
too much for
Do
them.
you get? So
Yeah,
I
you
feel
start from
as
if predators
parents,
come.
as teachers, the best thing to tell a child when it comes to this sex issue or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
let them know that you are a child, whether male or female. There are some certain part of your body
That
that
should not be touched.
Yes,
that
the red
should
zone.
not be touched.
Yeah,
I saw a
exactly, it's called the
diagram.
red
Yes,
zone.
Red
for
zone.
instance, no one is allowed to touch your mouth. No one is
Mhm.
allowed to touch your chest.
Yes.
You're not allowed to sit on anybody's
Your
lap.
lap.
No one is allowed
Exactly.
to touch your buttocks.
Yes.
No one is allowed. If peradventure anyone does, do not be
Reports.
so scared to report to your parents, to go to mommy, tell mommy.
But then again, this talking about reports. How about the thing happens before the reporting?
This
So
is
how-
where they also
yes,
have
how
to feel
did they-
comfortable enough to, because if you don't have that comfortable environment, they're not going to feel safe to come and talk to you about it, because first of all they'll be scared, and most times the predators themselves will threaten them.
And that is why you should make it. You should teach them this thing early.
Yes.
You are not.
Teach-
you are
teach
not,
them
you are
as
not-
in-
You are not going to.
Hold on, please. Teach them as in what essence? Okay, now if they touch these places, you come and tell me. Then how about this scenario that the male figure or the female figure successfully touches it and does with it what he wants to do with it? How about those safe guidelines? What should you do at that time when the thing is happening? I hardly hear that part. Do you run away? Do you
During-
scream? Do you?
Oh yes,
Yeah, when the
exactly. You
activity
need
is
to
about happening.
raise alarm.
Yeah,
What
you
is
do not.
screaming?
You do not keep quiet.
You
when
don't keep
certain
quiet,
things
yes.
happen. That you should let them know that you don't keep quiet. You don't bear. Like, you don't be too scared to like.
Also,
Shout
although
or scream.
this is for the children now, but for like maybe teenagers and like teenagers, yes, teenagers, they should also learn to not be scared to fight back or to use
Yes.
anything as a weapon.
Yes,
At this point,
safety,
it's for
pepper
your
sprays and
safety.
all
The thing
that.
is, most times they are scared because they are not scared
You sure?
of the person that did that to them. They're actually scared of maybe the stigma they will
Yeah,
face.
exactly.
Like
That's
people
why
might blame them. Like, what did you go there to do? Why did you
that
dress like
happens
this?
so much,
Why did you dress like this? What do you, now wait till you
and it
dey
still happens
now
now.
wait till you dey find now you see.
Yes,
See,
and it still happens now.
personally,
My
to me,
sister
even
now
when
wait till you dey
my
find now you see.
even my
Victims
And that
already.
is
even when
not
my
nice.
Yeah, it's not nice.
That is not nice.
And
It
if they
will
see it happen
discourage
to
them.
other people, they would also not want to go
Yes.
and talk about it to anybody.
So I feel we should talk about we should always talk
it should be
about
a
these things.
norm,
It should be a norm.
not a
Yes.
taboo.
There's nothing to be ashamed of. Teach them, tell them.
Not a taboo. These things it even makes them understand relationship better.
Yes, it does.
Sexual
Teach
development.
them about their bodies.
Even when they're
Teach
3
them.
years, I'm going to teach them. If my
Yes.
child does not understand, I will let them know, because a story I heard how many months ago, this happened in Delta State again. Happened in Delta State where a school teacher, but was it the professor or something? But I know that it happened in a school premises. He had to defile a 3-year-old child.
You can imagine.
Can imagine. So even as 3, so far as now I can't see you, you're distant from me, you're in school, you're around, a social space that you could
And
develop
literally, I'm
yourself.
even putting you in their
Ah,
care.
I'm going
Like I
to
put
teach you,
in the
darling.
school's care.
I'm going to teach you.
But this word is evil.
Yes.
People
That's a
are
better word
people
you
are
can use.
something else. How
Like,
I actually know of someone that got defiled at 3 years old.
I-
She's an adult now.
3?
At 3.
I was
By a
perplexed.
family member, an uncle. But she's an adult now and she's doing okay. But I can't even
How-
Imagine the trauma she
Yes, I
went
can't imagine
through.
the trauma she went through as a child growing up. The thing is that she's never going to forget it. That's
Never.
the thing. And usually at 3 years old, you don't remember certain things, but you see that
But
particular
then,
thing, you never
how
forget
can
it in
you?
your life.
Yes, exactly.
But then
It's
this
not
this sex education thing is also helps against online safety. Basically, I don't know how to put the sentence,
Do you know,
but online safety.
this is just you reminded me of something about the red zones and the green zone. When I was little, like my memory is like I'm getting flashes from that. That a man that was working in my father's building, he touched me. I think he touched me on my red zone. Do you know what I thought? That he has deflowered me. I just remember that now.
That reminds
So
me
this
of when
is what-
mothers used to say, if a man touches you, you're going to get pregnant.
if you decide to stand and answer a guy,
You're
maybe
going to
stop-
get. I mean,
pregnancy.
at one point you're thinking they're overreacting, but they know what they are doing.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's the way they protected
That
their
it all
children.
makes
yes,
sense
they
now.
just want you to
Yes, they don't want
stay
to
away.
flee.
because
Flee
from
away.
if you talk
Hey.
to if they know you in your mind you believe that if I talk to this guy I'll get pregnant, so I'd rather not
Yeah,
talk
I'd
to
rather
this
not
guy.
talk.
They feel that since she already thinks like that, we are safe, she's safe, because she won't risk talking to a guy, so that she won't risk getting pregnant. Or
True.
but I don't think that's the right way to teach. Times have changed,
Yeah,
and I believe these things
we need to evolve.
should change
with
as well. We should
everything, yeah.
evolve with
Nigeria
everything
needs
that's
to
happening.
evolve.
So
Indeed.
Yeah. Well, now, what part does silence play in all of this?
A whole lot. A whole lot. When you misinform, for me,
Yes.
and then again, when you feel this is not an important thing to be talked about.
Yeah.
Okay, because I know that on a percentage, a lot of persons has gone through an environment whereby the mom, the father did not give them this orientation, did not educate them on this. They were just silent about it. You go as a life flows and all
Yeah.
that. You tend to now know these things by yourself. You get lucky or unlucky when you are learning and unlearning it. So the silence to me, it's detrimental.
I feel
Talk about it.
the ignorance will make your children or the child vulnerable.
Yeah. Silence makes
The
it
silence
helps
will do
abuse
no good for
thrive.
them.
Yeah.
To be sincere.
Also, the part where even after the child has come and complained or reported,
The
and then
disbelief.
people either they don't believe you or they try to cover it up, and then the person gets away with it because there was no punishment, no judgment, no nothing. They will still do it to somebody else.
And this thing,
I've
this,
heard-
this, this thing they tag with little
I've
children.
heard cases where the stepdaughter is being abused by the stepfather, and then she goes to her mother and say, mommy, see, and the woman is like, my husband, you want to spoil my marriage.
Can
No, Nigerian
imagine.
movies always depict stuff like that.
Yes.
It happens.
And it happens
It
in
happens
real life.
in real life. Yes, I've heard it.
But it's not funny.
It's not like you want to. You are just like your father, that your useless father. You want to destroy my marriage.
Really?
You want to destroy
Or then
my
they are
marriage
the
and all
ones
of
that have, I
So-
won't say they have no choice because they do have a choice, but they have no choice but to be silent, especially if
Hmm.
they do not have a standing ground. Like the mothers,
Hmm.
they have nowhere to go. So they just leave their child
So
to be abused
let's
in that home.
let's
Sometimes
people
some of them,
Yes,
some
I
of
stayed
them,
there.
some of them do have where to go actually, but then they just decide to turn a blind eye to
Yes,
whatever
they
is
turn a
happening
blind eye
because they feel my marriage is more important. to
You
me.
know, awareness too is also a factor. Some of them, like you said, you just counted and like they do know where to go. Some
Yes.
persons really don't know.
some
Aw-
persons
awareness
really
is
have
everything.
nobody.
Nobody.
They have nobody. They
Will
have
you want
no
to go
money.
talk
They
to a
have
stranger
no job.
walking
They
along
can't just
the
leave.
road?
They don't know where to start
Those
from.
it's mostly those of them that are dependent.
But I still
Thank-
feel
thank God
the
for
most
these
important
agencies
thing
right
would be
now.
taking your child out of that environment.
The best,
no matter what.
even
But
if
okay,
you
what if she's stranded? Like the mom. That's why it's really
You don't have
advisable for a
family
lady to
members.
have something.
Some
to
people
do.
don't have
But
family
that
members.
you, as a mother, you should know that after getting such a complaint, you should know that this is not if even if you decide not to confront your husband, you should know that okay, this environment is not good for my child. I need to you need to do everything to
Financial
ensure.
stability comes in play
Yes,
because most
that
persons
is
do not
very
step out because
important.
they don't have the resources to do so.
True.
And these men now, they kind of confine the ladies, restrain them so that they will not be financially stable to do the things they want to do in their mind or they have at heart.
And you know, some people get married just to give birth to children because they are pedophiles, so they can do it to their children.
They do it
Because
to
it's
their
just-
children
yeah.
as well.
Because it's
I've
just,
even-
it's just
funny
easier.
enough, I've even seen a mom do that to her son
I've seen a
on
mom
a
do it to her
reality
daughter.
show.
Like it happens.
Like seriously.
And it's crazy, and you'll be thinking, what kind of mother would do this to their child? But they are out there.
The
and
world
they
is
do it.
evil.
And they do it.
The world is evil.
Well,
Honestly.
I don't know.
It's pathetic because I don't get it.
The child
I-
cried
I-
for 9 months.
I don't understand. A child that calls you daddy.
Yes.
Like, I don't get it. What do you want? What are you
And they
looking
don't
for?
feel any guilt whatsoever. No guilt, no remorse. Sha. Anyway, so now what points would you give now as a way to help with more
Advocacy on
talking
that.
of sex education or more teaching of sex education to children?
Okay. I believe the first step we should take is breaking the silence. Pretending. We should
Break
start.
that
That's the first thing
silence.
we should do. Pretending as if there's nothing like sex education. Like sex. No, we'll just skip on.
When you get
We
to
should-
your class, you will know.
Yes, when the time is right. If you do not teach them now, someone else will.
Yes.
And trust me, it might actually be very, very, very bad.
It's the
It's
resources,
not
all the
worse.
resources will not be available.
You get,
at-
we should make up our mind.
Mm.
We should think within ourselves that okay, it's time we stop being pretentious when it comes to this thing. It actually
It
exists.
happens.
It
It's there.
happens.
You can't just
So
pretend it's
you
not
cannot
there.
just like turn a blind eye and pretend as if we'll just leave them. We'll manage them. We'll
Well,
patch them.
children are vulnerable. You can't just.
Do
turn
you
a
get?
blind eye,
So
really.
I believe that's the first step we should take.
Yeah. Okay, Millicent, what about you?
Okay, I'm going to address this to single parents, be it a single mom or a single dad. Okay, depending on the circumstances, whatsoever it is. I know single mom, they are really trying and it's more hard for single fathers. But then again, as a single father, you need to bring yourself down to the level of the child, especially where you have a female child. Not disregarding the fact that you have male children, because this sex education, it's not stereotyped to a female gender or a male gender. Everybody. Inclusive.
Everyone
Yes.
goes
So
through
Teach
it.
your male,
please, you
teach
need to
your
be
female children.
intentional about
Yes.
this. That's what I have to say. Be intentional about teaching them.
Yeah, well, I think we should really encourage open conversations in the homes, because that's where it starts. Charity begins at home. Everything starts from the home. So we should encourage having open conversations about it. And then all these small organizations like NGOs and all that help with rape victims and stuff, we should also like help promote them, because many of them don't have a lot of funding. They're actually doing this. Most of them are
Yes.
doing this on their own. So like there should be a lot of promotion for them and more. And we should talk about these things more. Like we really need
Yeah.
to talk about these things
Avoiding
more.
avoiding this topic, sex education, will not stop your children
From being promiscuous, if that's a thought.
from facing these issues. These are real life
Yeah,
issues.
and they will happen.
It
Because
will-
because they say because of promiscuity.
instead it will leave them unprepared.
Promiscuity.
Promiscuity. That's why they don't
instead
sit there.
it will leave them unprepared,
Yes.
Exactly, which is
which is
horrible.
very bad.
It's horrible.
Just imagine you teach your child, you tell them, let them know, give them information, appropriate information they need to know, and then something like this occurs, or they go somewhere and they are faced with this issue.
They know what to do.
They know, okay,
And it
Mommy
helps
said-
for decision making.
do you-
Yes.
It helps for decision
Making-
making.
informed choices, making better choices.
The right choices.
Do you get?
Yeah.
So I feel you should take it upon. We should take
we
it
should be
upon
Intentional,
ourselves.
yeah.
We should take it upon ourselves.
Should be intentional about it.
Yes.
We should be open when it comes to open-minded when it comes
when
to
it comes to this
these
conversation.
sex discussions, abuses, sexual abuses, maturity stages, your body and everything. So
Yeah.
that's it.
Well, that brings us to the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed it because we enjoyed it.
Oh,
We
sure.
definitely enjoyed
I
it,
did.
yeah. So please follow us on all our social media handles. They will be somewhere on the screen, probably down here. Yeah, and
Yeah.
please like, subscribe, comment,
Share.
please. We want to like know your opinions. We are going to read through them. We're going to read through. They want to know your opinions concerning situations like this. And yeah, that would be it. Thank you very much for watching.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.